to the papers now, see what the headlines are in Nigeria this morning. And I have with me a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Jide Ologun, as well as a journalist, Dario Dufowokon. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. All right, let's begin with The Nation. The Nation newspaper is where we start from this morning. And it says, federal government attacks Obasanjo over divisive comments. Anger over ex-president's Fulanization remark. Okay, that's what The Nation has. And from The Nation, Daily Sun said Obasanjo wants to divide Nigeria. The federal government is saying that it demands apology from ex-president over comments on Boko Haram and others. Right? From the Daily Sun, let's go to the blueprint. Federal government to Obasanjo, don't break up Nigeria in your twilight. Says ex-president's Boko Haram comment divisive. Insists the group killed more Muslims than Christians. And Obasanjo's statement reckless, unpatriotic. MSSN is saying that. All right, from the blueprint, let's go to The Guardian. Don't speak for Boko Haram, herdsmen. Fenifere tells federal government only groups backers will condemn Obasanjo. Ex-president's stance divisive, says government. Okay. From The Guardian, let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. Federal government attacks Obasanjo over Fulanization comments. Okay, still on the same story. From the Tribune, let's go to the Vanguard now, the final one. Fulanization agenda. Obasanjo seeks to divide Nigeria in his old age. Federal government is saying that. It says his comments divisive, depressing. Kan, Onayekon, Martins, Adebanjo, Ikpome, and Nyam. Others back Obasanjo. Okay, gentlemen, when an elder statesman who has risen to the level of being a general and head of state and president makes a statement, certainly one would say he knows what he's saying. No one is going to wave it aside. But the sensitivity of some statements sometime to the state of things in the country sometimes can also make a lot of people have a cause for worry. Dari, let me start with you on this. How does this come to you?
Yeah, sincerely, I don't have any problem with what Obasanjo said. But I have a big problem with where and how he said it. Okay. And I'm sure this is what is generating most of these responses. There was actually in his statement, I see nothing new. That we had herdsmen running riot all over the country is a statement of fact. That some of these people have been arrested and they turned out to be Fulanis is also true. But equally, there have been those who have been arrested and they are not Fulanis.
Of course.
That we have kidnappers all over the place is a statement of fact. But when a former president chooses the sanctity of a church auditorium to make statements that tends to indict the other religion,
or an ethnic group,
or a particular ethnic group. I'm not even particular about the ethnic group thing. The Islamization statement being made in a church is incisive, it can incite, and it can also create bad blood between brothers of different faiths. Take a good look at the response from the federal government too. You see, sometimes in this country, the handlers of joint patrimony, as I see it, must be very cautious. Obasanjo is one of them. He's been head of state. He's been president twice. So till he takes a bow and joins his creator, he remains part of those handling our collective patrimony in this country. He went to a church in Delta State to allege Fulanization and Islamization. Then the presidency is responding, and they went as far as saying Boko Haram and whoever has killed more Muslims, more than Christians. This is unnecessary. The mere fact that Nigerians are being killed is worrisome. Must we now differentiate between the dead? Or when you say a dead body on the floor, you know, this is a Muslim dead body, a Christian. The whole thing, from both ends, I think this debate should just stop. We don't need it. Both parties are not doing us any good.
All right.
The way they are carrying on.
Jide, this debate should just stop because it's not doing Nigeria any good. At this time where Nigerians are looking forward to unification and integration and looking forward to better days for the economy, for everyone, prosperity for the country, how does this come to you? Is this like taking Nigeria backwards, or is something else?
The debate may only stop if the appropriate actions start.
Who will take the appropriate action? Like Dari has said,
the government and
former
the
president who is a main stakeholder is making a statement. The federal government that is supposed to...
The essence of government is to regulate the society. And if that regulation fails, that is when you start pushing to the people. The people are expected to exercise the mandate by giving you the power to manage. And having said that, what Chief Olusegun Obasanjo said got amplified because of who said it. Many have complained, even from outside the country. The realities are there. Even my amiable President Muhammad Buhari, admitted that the Islamic State of West Africa is invading Nigeria. We have not denied that herders are killing people. I mean, Chief Audu Ogbe, the Minister of Agriculture, came out at a time requesting for cattle colony in Nigeria. After about 150 were killed on the 1st of January of a particular year, retired General Theophilus Danjuma came out to address the university community that there was a collusion between the military and the criminals, and that there is an intention to embark on ethnic cleansing. A panel was set up to probe that allegation, what came out of it. The question now is, are people being killed? Yes. Right now, we spoke about SWOT analysis recently. We have opportunities of doing business with the outside world. With the trade war between America and China, Nigeria should benefit from it. But how is our economy? All these things impact. And like Mr. Dare said, I'm worried when we begin to compare the number of lives lost, whether they are Muslims or Christians. People are being killed. Over 20,000 human souls have been wasted since Boko Haram started. We are talking about the internally displaced. We are talking about the depressed economy.
All right. Now, Dare, just a few days ago, statesman Bola Tinubu made a statement cautioning leaders in their comments to say, okay, don't make unguarded statements that can distract the people and all of that. Now, how resonating is that statement to this now?
Then you'll agree with him that it's quite a timely statement. We don't have to heat up the polity. To say these problems we talk about are there is to say the obvious. All hands should rather be on deck to find solution.
Right.
It took Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to say that is to tell you that leaders at that level have opportunities of discussing. I would rather have a situation where Obasanjo would, in his usual manner, write a lengthy letter again to Mr. President, privately, calling his attention to his fears. I fear this, I fear that. And then he comes out to Nigerians to say, I did this again.
It's time now to look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. And I have with me in the studio a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Jide Ologun, and a journalist, Dario Odufokon. Gentlemen, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning.
All right. Let's look at the papers now. The Nation newspaper this morning, it's leading with the federal government attacks Obasanjo over divisive comment. Anger over ex-president Fulanization remark. Okay, and from there we move on to Daily Sun, where the headline is, Obasanjo wants to divide Nigeria. The federal government is saying that. And the writer to that story demands apology from ex-president over comment on Boko Haram. Others. That's it from Daily Sun. Moving on from there to Blueprint newspaper. Federal government to Obasanjo, don't break up Nigeria in your twilight, says ex-president. Boko Haram comments divisive. Zest group killed more Muslims than Christians. Obasanjo's statement reckless and patriotic. MSSN is saying that. Okay, and on the front page of The Guardian, don't speak for Boko Haram. Herdsmen, Afenifere tells federal government. And the writers, only groups backers will condemn Obasanjo. Ex-president stands divisive, says government. It's about that same topic on all the papers today. On the Nigerian Tribune front page, federal government attacks Obasanjo over Fulanization comment. That's it from Nigerian Tribune. And Vanguard, Fulanization agenda. Obasanjo seeks to divide Nigeria in his old age. Federal government is saying that. Says his comments divisive, depressing. CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria, Onayekon Martins, Adebanjo, Iponwe, Nyam, others back Obasanjo. So this matter is so serious that it's taken over the front pages of all the newspapers. But let's look at how it's crafted on The Guardian. Don't speak for Boko Haram, herdsmen, Afenifere tells federal government. And the writers, only groups backers will condemn Obasanjo. Ex-president stands divisive, says government. So as much as the federal government has something against former President Olusegun Obasanjo's comments, he seems to enjoy the support now from some people who would rather have the government look at the matter in a different way. Let's begin with you, Dari.
Yeah, but you also read when you were presenting the headlines that a group, MSSN, told him he's divisive. His statement is unacceptable. So it would be wrong of us to say he enjoys support. It has been knocks and kudos for him since he made that statement. So it's a mixed bag of reactions. And like I said before, those who are praising him for what he has said, are doing the obvious too, because what he's saying is not new. We all know these issues are there. Insecurity pervades the country. We've seen people who have been hiding under the guise of religion to torment some parts of the country. I'm talking about groups like Boko Haram, like Islamic State of West African Province. These people are hiding. Not what I've just said. They are hiding under the guise of religion. Obviously, their intentions has nothing to do with religion. That is one, too. We've also seen people who happen to be from a particular ethnic group fomenting troubles and killing people. Some Fulani herdsmen have been caught to have unleashed terror in some parts of the country. So also, people who are not Fulanis have been also involved in some violence. But what we are saying here is, when you say the obvious and you choose a platform that is not too palatable and a manner that is not too acceptable to say it, you will miss the point. Now everybody is missing the message in what Obasanjo has to say and focusing on how he said it. That's why you now have the issue degenerating to a debate between Christians and Muslims, between Christian groups and Muslim groups, between Afenifere and Arewa. It shouldn't be. If he had simply said the obvious in a manner that is devoid of any form of ethnic bias or religious preference, we won't have a situation whereby we will miss, because what he's saying is very important. We must not lose sight of what he has said, that we need to do something urgently about threats to the existence of Nigerians and Nigeria being carried out by certain people. But going to a church to make such a statement, I think is not palatable.
So it's something like the issue of, is it a baby and a bath water? Because now Dari believes that what he said is not new and it's something that should be said, but the manner, he finds fault with the way that was said. Jide, how do you react to this?
You know, it is disturbing when we try to classify realities under ethnicity or religion. Obviously, we have different ethnic groups in this country. We have different religious affiliations. And the critical aspect of governance is that there must be protection of lives and properties, provision for the people, creation of an enabling environment. So I see all these as excuses. If, for instance, criminals are treated as criminals, irrespective of where they are from, then we'll be able to regulate the society. But in situations where people have spoken, that a group of people commit crime, and it's like they are treated with kids' gloves. And this thing is spreading. In industrial psychology, you talk about reinforcement theory. Something that started in a region in the country is spreading to everywhere. And I think a reasonable Nigerian should be concerned, because the next question you ask yourself is that where next? The likes of us were asking, Why were we importing ammunition into this country? You read in newspapers, containers of ammunition seized from, military camouflage and everything. Right now, you see economic activities, social activities being stampeded, and you see Nigeria being branded as a terrorist society. Look at what the US just did now. The Dropbox issue, and now branded as a terrorist society. Look at what the US just did now. The Dropbox issue, and now we are engaging them. That they will no longer allow Dropbox for a class of some people. You have to come for an interview for various reasons. So we need to sanitize our environment. We need economic revival. So for me, whether former President Obasanjo said it in the air or wherever, he is just an amplified voice that probably will get the attention of those who have been pretending as if it is well with this country. We are in a terrible state now. And I will want the government to look at these allegations and prove Chief Olusegun Obasanjo wrong by dealing with these criminal elements. I mean, I said it earlier. My amiable president admitted at the time that the Islamic States of West Africa, is invading Nigeria. Is this a war zone? I mean, at a point, ISIS also claimed to be interested in what is going on. Why should a group rise up in a country and be fighting education that is unique for facilitating development? And we think we should pretend over these issues. And don't forget, it's not just Chief Olusegun Obasanjo that spoke. At the time, retired General Theophilus Danjuma also made some allegations of ethnic cleansing. At the time, some of us raised our concern. The Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, said that they needed cattle colony. What's the meaning of colony? You are taking over some regions. We have said it, that breeding cattle should not involve wasting of lives. I think India has about 300 million cows, more than the human population of Nigeria. Do they kill there? Businesses are done around the world. And many have suggested, go to ranching, go and borrow money from the banks. So collectively, if we discover that the poverty that is plaguing this country is a product of deliberate omission of governance actions, then we turn around.
All right, gentlemen, it's been so good being with you at this time. Dario Dufowoko and Jide Ologun on the newspaper headlines review.